Kush's movie review.
Yes, welcome to Kush's movie review. This week's movie review is here. Starring Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, the movie depicts an alternative timeline where Jenny isn't a complete bitch and doesn't leave Forrest Gump. I think that's about it, right?
That's about right. Sounds
Pretty
about right.
accurate. I
Except for, well, I shouldn't spoil anything. But
I
anyway.
was so excited when I saw that she was in it. I was like, oh my god, goddamn Jenny.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah. I told
Hence.
Mama Hayes, like, I just got out the new Tom Hanks movie. It was Robert Zemeckis directed. And then, of course, Tom Hanks is there and Robin Wright. And she was, at first, she was like, huh? And I was like, Jenny from Forrest Gump? She's like, oh, you mean the chick from Wonder Woman? I was like, that's your reference? The minorist character from Wonder Woman?
No, what
Uh,
would have been great, what would have been even better is if you said, Jenny from Forrest Gump, and if your mum's like, oh, did she have the magic legs? And you're like, no, wrong character, different character.
right, right,
That'd
right.
have been fun.
Would have definitely been the wrong character. So we are talking Robert Zemeckis's Here, Here. It's a PG-13, and it's actually a very quick 1 hour and 44 minutes. Like I just said, directed by Robert Zemeckis, who has done some great stuff. The Back to the Future trilogy, Contact with Jodie Foster, which is wildly underrated. Um, there's a movie he did with Joseph Gordon-Levitt called The Walk, where just this French trapeze artist is like, wow, they're building these two buildings in downtown New York called the World Trade Center. I need to tightrope across that thing. That's crazy.
Naturally.
And then he's done some other shit that people haven't really responded to. Beowulf, um, the what is it, the Christmas Train, whatever, the animated thing with Tom Hanks. There was two of those things, by the way.
Oh,
Um,
something express.
the Polar Express.
Polar Express.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Yeah. He's done some great movies, and he's done some less than great movies, but he's always tried to make a different movie.
Like Back to the Future
Castaway
3.
is one of his movies. Great goddamn movie. It's Tom Hanks on an island. Like you are moved the entire time, and that man is carrying the entire film. Um, this is written by one Robert Zemeckis, a gentleman named Eric Roth, and then surprisingly based on a graphic novel by a gentleman named Richard McGuire. As you just said, stars Tom Hanks, stars Miss Robin Wright, no more pen, and Paul Bettany plays Tom Hanks's character's dad. Um, there's a term called a bottle movie where we just stay in one location, and that is this. Sometimes we're in a living room, sometimes that house doesn't even exist yet. When we're exploring a family, we explore about 5, maybe 6 different families, but there is definitely a lot of time travel. However, when we come back to one family, and I'm mainly referring to Tom Hanks's family, we're always going forward, but sometimes there wasn't a house here. Sometimes just a couple of Native Americans were just hanging out, kind of baby, whatever. Again, no teepee, just all grass and green and foliage. And then sometimes we had some patriots from the Revolution, the American Revolution, that lived there, and they built a house. And then eventually that whole thing ended, and then we see the house we're in get built, and apparently the man who invented the Lazy Boy lived there once upon a time.
Ooh.
Um, After Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, we explore this other family that are just living in modern times where they have to explain to their child, well, if a cop pulls you over, do this, this, and this. Otherwise, if you don't do all that in that order and correctly, you might get shot. They're black, by the way. Just for context. Anyways, the main family we focus on is Tom Hanks's family, and we see him as a child, and then we see him as a teenager, and then we see him as a de-aged Tom Hanks teenager. It's kind of exciting. I like I like seeing what Zemeckis does with the new set of special effects and the de-aging stuff that Disney has been doing with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has been trying to do with Star Wars and or anything else. does a pretty good job. But then again, just Tom Hanks just eventually does get older and older and older. Um, this is a very simple movie. It's easier to look at this as 1 hour and 44 minutes of 140 different small vignettes. We never leave the house. We never go to another thing. If something happened outside of the house, well, our characters are sure to bring it up. So you're able to follow it. It's a very simple movie. I found it a very fast-paced movie because it's just scene, 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 scene. Again, we sometimes there isn't a house there, but we never leave this little box here. All right. This little box I'm in, we never leave this shit. It's just always this scene. Um, I liked it. You like seeing what the other folks were doing in the past, and you like seeing what the other folks are doing in the future. But again, the main story is Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, and high school sweethearts. He gets her knocked up. They have to have a kid. They live at his parents' house, and then one day his parents are like, "We are giving you the deed to the house, and we're going to Florida." It's all of that. Um, Again, Robert Zemeckis in his experimental phase, and this experimental phase has been going on for about 20 years. This movie only made $5 million this weekend. I
Oof.
don't know how much it cost to make. I can't really imagine it cost much. I
Well, there's only
don't
one
think it cost
camera.
don't think it cost 100 million, but regardless of even if it cost 40 million, it did poorly financially. And some people are just tired of Robert Zemeckis' experiment. Some people, for some reason, have a problem with Tom Hanks these days. There's some weird conspiracy going around where he's molesting kids. Um, that's clearly not a thing.
I mean, he invented
Uh,
COVID, but other than that, he's a nice guy.
he, he caught COVID, and that's when COVID became official. Is when he caught it. Like people were
CHV.
kind of just like going, "Nah, this thing, it'd be fine." And then Tom Hanks caught the COVID, and they're like, "Oh no, everybody's gonna die." That was a
Coincidence?
thing for a week. Check your history books, kids. But anyways, I really like the story. Uh, my Facebook timeline blew up a little bit where some people were like, I really liked it. Cool. Other folks were like, I didn't like it. That is also okay. But then some folks were like, it was too slow for me. And I was like, did you need Tony Stark to fly through the living room to make it a little more exciting? Like what this
I
thing
mean,
never
those are him.
stopped. It's just scenes, 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 scene. Very little exposition. I'm sorry there isn't a bus chase or anything like, but it keeps going. I was when I wrote this down, it was like an hour and 44 minutes. Maybe this doesn't help my review. I thought I was there about 2 hours, but at the same time, I was just like, I wouldn't cut a minute out of this. Well, again, I might want to add 16 more minutes to it, just to get a little more of the flavor for it. So, anyways, we see life happening in this one enclosed space. I thought it was incredibly well done. I haven't seen every Robert Zemeckis thing, but I liked almost everything I've seen. I couldn't tell you what I think maybe Beowulf might be the worst movie of his I've seen, and that's just because of the animation. But they were trying new stuff with animation then. However, Beowulf is talking mad shit the entire movie, and I was there for it. This guy is handling the Grendel, and then all of a sudden just starts stripping his clothes off. He's like, "I'm gonna fuck you up," and I was like, "What is happening here?" Oh, sir, please put your clothes back on. I am more intimidated now that you are gonna fight this man naked. And naked he did fight. So anyway, here, soft PG-13. We get one F-bomb. There's a problem in the marriage. They bring in a therapist, and Tom Hanks is wildly offended. He's like, "Get the fuck out of my house!" Which I was like, "Oh, I need to hear Tom Hanks drop more F-bombs." I liked that a lot. Anyways, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. I really enjoy this. I don't think it's going to pick up any little gold trophies. It would like to. It would absolutely like to, but It's just not fair. However, again, I like Robert Zemeckis trying new things. However, I don't know how many more times he's going to be able to just try new things if he's not bringing back his investors' money. Doesn't change anything. 5 out of 5 here. If you like a Tom Hanks movie, if you like feeling a little happier at the end, or just just a little wholesome, see us in the theater. I mean, it's probably going to be on Netflix or Hulu or whatever in 7 weeks, just before Christmas. But go support this. It was definitely deserved.
I was just looking up because you talk about Robert Zemeckis' experimental era and people shit on it. To be fair to those people, let's read through his little
And by the way, I've
filmography.
seen plenty of trailers for Zemeckis films. I was like, I don't want to see the Polar Express, or I don't want to see Denzel Washington's Flight. I don't want to see a Denzel Washington movie. That's already weird. But by the way, that got a lot of acclamates. That was nominated for a lot of Academy Awards, and I was just like, no, I don't give a shit.
Well, let's just talk
So,
like real quick. I'm not going to go through the whole
talk about it.
filmography,
Talk about
obviously,
it.
because that'd be crazy.
Yes, it would,
But
but
this
talk about it
man,
anyways.
right? This man in his early career did *Romancing the Stone*, fantastic
Yeah,
movie.
great movie.
*Back to the Future* 1, 2, and 3, fantastic
The whole
movies.
trilogy.
Three was a little bit, but maybe that was a bit
Actually,
because 1 and 2 are fucking amazing. So it's hard.
controversial statement. Part 3 is my favorite.
Fair enough. *Who Framed Roger Rabbit*,
Yeah,
amazing movie.
I think he's known the most for that outside of Back to the Future.
*Death Becomes Her*, fantastic movie.
You know what?
Uh,
It's only okay. But again, they were trying brand new special effects during that. Like, can we see Goldie Hawn's? Can we see through Goldie Hawn's abdomen? We're gonna shoot her with a shotgun. I'm gonna have a big hole in this beautiful woman's chest, and I want to be able to see right through it. They use that scene all the time now. So at the time, this
Game
was an
changer.
impressive freaking movie. However, I saw everything in the trailer. The audience, I forget what movie I went to go see, but when that trailer played, all the best reactions came from that trailer. Please continue, Mike. I'm sorry.
No worries. Then after that, he did *Forrest Gump*,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
that
yeah.
did all right.
Forrest
Now,
Gump not only did it okay financially and it won a bunch of awards. For some reason, within the last 20 years, there are a bunch of people saying "fuck Forrest Gump," and I'm like, who are you people? Like,
Savages.
I got the Forrest Gump soundtrack for Christmas one year. I was like, this is dope. I'm like, I don't give a shit about
It's a great
Elvis's
goddamn
Hound Dog. I
movie.
was like, this is a great soundtrack.
But then we come to his final 3 movies on this list. So we got Here, which you said is 5 out of 5. I haven't seen it, so I'm going to take your word for it. But
I bet you can put, when it comes on streaming, I bet you can put it on the background, watch it 6 or 7 times, and see a different thing every time. It's just on in the background.
sounds
But
awesome to me.
yeah, why not?
But in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
this is where I thought, you know what, the great Robert Zemeckis is losing
It's
it.
gonna be a pandemic film, but go ahead.
He's losing it. And he might have lost it when he did the remake of the movie The Witches.
Oh, did he do that?
He not only directed it, he wrote it and produced it.
Okay. You know
And
what, though? I don't even
as
like the
someone
original
who
Witches.
appreciated how fucking weird and fucked up and damaging to my mental health the original
Mhm.
Witches was, that movie was garbage. His remake.
Okay.
That was so bad.
Mm. I remember hearing a lot of negative criticism, but I also remember hearing people being upset, like, the
Oh well,
witch
no.
has 6 fingers. And I was like,
Well, I
all
remember at
right,
the time
so
a lot of the negative feedback was, well, the main child in the original was white. Why does it have to be a black child? Now, that was the kind of
oh,
the
did that
most,
happen?
and
Yeah, that's
yeah, that
stupid.
was that. So, like, blur out that noise. But just generally, the movie was not good. This movie was not good. I don't give a fuck. The, like, really, there's a movie about a bunch of witches who are like coming together for like a, I don't know what the fuck it, like a convention of witches, and then a young boy gets caught up in it and it gets turned into a mouse, and yada 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 yada, and you're like worried about the fucking skin color of the boy that gets turned into like get a fucking life, people, get a
Yeah.
fucking life.
That's also come up with the newest The Wicked adaptation. People are like, why is it gotta be a black girl? It's like, well, it's technically a green girl,
The,
but
the
all right,
green,
who gives a shit?
it's a green witch, and you're worried about the oh Jesus, like even if you're so racist
Oh my
that you
god.
can't even stand to see a black person, they're green in the movie, so it's like it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But anyway, yeah, I got off
What
track
was the
there.
third movie? You had a third movie there.
Oh, Pinocchio.
Yeah, that wasn't good either. And that was a Netflix movie, and those are traditionally just not good. The Walk, which I believe was just before that. Again,
No, well,
Joseph
no, there was
Gordon-Levitt
two movies between The Walk and the witch, the witches.
okay, that's
I've
fine.
never heard
Well,
of
I'm
them.
talking
I'll
about The
be
Walk
honest.
anyways. Saw The Walk on in the IMAX theater. Again, no one else saw this fucking thing, but I saw it in on IMAX in 3D. Special effects were fantastic, and as a man with vertigo who cannot handle heights, like my palms are just sweaty the entire time. Like I don't think it translates good to your regular 4K TV at home, but like if they ever do a re-release of The Walk, I absolutely recommend everybody go see that because that thing got slept on. That was a fucking shame.
Can you guess the two films? So after The Walk and before The Witches, Robert Zemeckis directed and produced two movies, one of which starred Brad Pitt, but I've never heard of this movie.
Oh, the Welcome to Marsdale, Margot.
Welcome to
It's a Steve Carell movie.
Marwen. That's the Steve
Yeah,
Carell movie. Yep.
that was so. That's definitely a bad movie, and I forgot that even existed. By the way, I looked up Zemeckis' IMDb page too. Welcome to Marwen is such a weird movie because it's about a man who was assaulted for just admitting that he likes wearing women's high heels. Okay. Now he's had wild head trauma, so he hallucinates shit all the time. So most of the movie, he is imagining himself as like for the sake of saying it, a GI Joe character. It's not GI Joe, but he you know, and they go on all these little missions through the house and all that. And I'm like, visually it looks great. However, the reason why it failed, and it was most likely meant for children, is parents do not want to explain what a fucking foot fetish is to their children. Like it was based on a true story. It happened. This dude got hate crimed at just some roadside bar one night just because he went like, yeah, I don't like wearing high heels. Who cares? Well, they went and stomped him out, and then there's a whole trial happening, and he's going through PTSD. Like there's heavy tones in it, but parents did not want to explain to their child what the fuck a foot fetish was or what cross dressing is, and that tanked the entire movie. Otherwise, it was a very good looking movie. And again, Zemeckis always experimenting with the state of the art stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Visually, Marwen worked. Story wise, nah, the audiences aren't ready for that. Even today, in the most wokest of cultures, which has been been altered from what it used to be.
Can you name the last one? The Brad Pitt movie?
What is the bread? No, you know what? I can't. I'm sorry.
Allied.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
There you go. I rest my case, Your Honor. Robert Zemeckis has fallen off, which makes me sad to say that, but
No, I think again he's just trying stuff and it works or it doesn't work.
before
Like
we wrap
again,
up this review,
Beowulf was a cool fucking story. Like
you mentioned this movie was a certain type of movie because it's set in one place. What was the name of that?
here.
Yeah, you said like this is it's only basically one shot for the whole movie,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
which is a certain type of movie. What was that name of that?
Oh, bottleneck movie, which is a phrase I just
Bottleneck.
learned like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay. Would because I don't think I'm trying to remember because I haven't watched it in a long time. if I remember correctly, there might be more than one shot, but the movie I'm thinking of is Phone Booth. Is that the same thing? Because there are different scenes in that, where it's different angles, but the most of it is just camera on the phone booth.
I believe that does qualify as a bottleneck movie because most of it takes place in the phone booth. But yeah, no, like 99% of this movie takes place in the house, and then finally, at the very end, spoiler alert, without me telling you anything, then the camera finally gets off the little tripod, pans around around our heroes, and then leaves through the bay window and goes like, "This was the neighborhood they were in." And you're like, I mean, I guess cool, but yeah, 99% of that movie is just on a tripod.
That's pretty
cool. And everything's a green screen, of course.
Here from Robert Zemeckis, starring Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. 5 out of 5 according to Kush. So check it out. Yeah. Not many people have apparently. So you'd be doing old Robbie a favor.
That's all, folks.
Pay me off, Johnny.